Hello, I'm Jonathan Miller. We're here at the LD Micro main event. I'm here with Jonathan Siegmann, SVP of Corporate Development for Terran Orbital. Would you like to tell our viewers a little bit more about the company and where your focus is?
Yeah, appreciate being here. Thanks for having us. Yeah, so Terran Orbital, we're a leading producer of small satellites. We provide solutions and enabling infrastructure for all the new space applications that you may have heard about. We produce the satellite, can help the customer launch them, as well as operate them. As you might be aware, it's a revolution occurring. This is a new space race that's occurring right now. Brand new applications are proliferating kind of as we speak, and Terran Orbital is agnostic on customer, market, and application, and just selling the enabling infrastructure.
So I've spoken to a few more antenna companies. You're more focused on the satellite portion, launching things into space.
Yeah, so some of those customers may have an idea. They may have a payload that they need to get to space, and we'll provide them, if you think about the bus, the actual infrastructure, which includes the propulsion, the communications down to the ground, the solar cells, that helps it to work in space.
Excellent. And what's your background? How did you get involved with the company?
So I'm a former buy-side investor, 14 years at Fidelity. Ran their Select Defense Aerospace Fund, covered aerospace and defense stocks, and just got the space bug. Got to see all the disruption occurring in space and went all in on a career change, which I believe is one of the most compelling investments in space today, Terran Orbital.
I absolutely agree. And then what are some of the greatest strengths you see the company having?
Yeah, it really is the legacy. So for over 10 years, we've been producing some of these small satellites at the forefront of production of demonstrating some capabilities in space in a very small package. So historically, a satellite would cost $1 billion, it would take 10 to 12 years to launch, and it would be just the exclusive domain of nation states. What we've been able to demonstrate is you can do all that kind of capability in a much smaller package and develop it in 8 to 18 months, and we're getting that down shorter. So most passionate in being able to change the paradigm and make these solutions affordable to stimulate new demand.
That's great. And you touched on this briefly, but what would you say are some of the current trends that you're seeing in this market specifically?
Yeah, so it's just the demand signals have just been off the charts. So you have all these new applications occurring, but you're also on the national defense side. You may have heard about Russia and China demonstrating actual capabilities of knocking out some of these satellites, these anti-sat weapons. What that has done is created the need for the Space Force, which we used to think was just a political crazy idea, but we recognize now that space is a contested domain, and the U.S. government now is investing in new architectures to combat this new threat. So it's just this massive demand signals, both in commercial and national security space, that really is exciting.
I totally agree. It's a very interesting space to be in. And obviously companies, especially public companies, have had a lot of struggle, uphill battle over the last 2.5 years. How would you say you're riding that wave right now?
Yeah, so everybody is seeing the effects of tight labor markets, supply chain, and inflation. I think where Terran Orbital is really showing some successes, we're trying to industrialize and produce satellites at a large scale. And so part of that is integrating our entire supply chain, which has been helpful because it helps offset some of the pain that some of our peers are seeing when they're buying parts manufactured by third parties.
And where's most of the manufacturing done?
Irvine, California, just south of here.
Beautiful. And what would you say? How would you summarize the company's bottom line?
Bottom line right now, we're building a business that's going to be $1 billion in sales, and so we've been adding costs kind of ahead of that. Last year we just did under $50 million of sales, and margins aren't where they are going to be in the long run, but we're going to see steady improvement from this point forward, as we scale the business and bring on some of these efficiencies.
Excellent. And do you believe the change in stock price accurately represents where the company is right now?
So I think, as a former investor, I know it's sometimes hard to value companies that don't have free cash flow generating and low margins, and you have to look out 3 to 5 years. But what I think is different than relative to other space companies out there is we're agnostic on that customer demand and market. And we don't need to deploy a bunch of money with high technical risk to have a business, and it's just a matter of time, and the market will get it right.
I agree. And where and why do you see the sales trending?
So we're gonna be disappointed if we're only going to be doubling sales for the next couple of years. So we're aiming to be higher than that. We had a backlog that's up over 200% just year to date, and we're just getting started.
Excellent. And what would you say, in your opinion, is the greatest accomplishment so far, and the greatest one you see coming in the future?
Yeah, so we were recognized just earlier this year, getting the second Tranche 1 award for the transport layer from the Space Development Agency. That followed the Tranche 0 award that we got earlier for 10 satellites. This one was for 42 satellites. So that was a big driver of that big backlog increase. And then as we look ahead, we're really committed to delivering the first 10 of those satellites this year.
Wow. And I also see the company is presenting at the Ascend conference coming up.
Yep, we'll have Mark Bell there, and I'll have lots of good things to be talking about.
Excellent. And before we close out, anything specific you'd like to touch on for investors?
I just think space is a fabulous market that not enough people are looking at. It's like this is the internet age of 25 years ago, where you have a proliferation of lots of new companies out there, and you can pick and choose, and I'm all in on Terran Orbital. Thanks for having me.
Well, like they say, space, the final frontier. Again, thank you for having us. Terran Orbital, ticker symbol LLAP on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Jonathan, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.